NoDQ.com.
Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ video here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift.NoDQ. Special announcement, November 8th, NoDQ.com's 20-year birthday. I will be doing a special live stream with your phone calls. So yes, I am coming back with another call-in live stream November 8th. Stay tuned for more details. And with that, let's get down to your questions. First one today comes from Go Bills Go, Y2 Indian. Do you think WrestleMania 35 will be Undertaker's last? It'll be his 25th win. I did not know that. I did not pay attention to Undertaker's win-loss record after the streak ended. I really didn't. Now, I have gotten a similar question to that. Pretty much every year, I get the question, is the next WrestleMania going to be The Undertaker's last? I don't know, and I'm not even sure if Mark Calloway knows. At the end of the day, it might be a Vince McMahon decision. I think as long as Vince is willing to pay Undertaker the big bucks, and Mark Calloway wants to do it, then I think we are going to see The Undertaker at WrestleMania. He could be at WrestleMania for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Who knows? It's really hard to say. I thought he was going to be done at 30. I thought he was going to be done at 31, and so on and so on. So there's really no timetable for his official retirement. He is, for the most part, unofficially retired. He wrestles every once in a while. He's not on a full-time schedule. Hasn't been in years. That question's very difficult to answer because I feel like only two people could really answer that question. Got this one here from Chris. Hey Aaron, if the rumors are true about Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at Survivor Series, should there be a stipulation where if Undertaker loses, I think he meant loses, he must retire and Shawn is wrestling for Triple H in ring career as well? I'm not a fan of any more careers being put on the line if Shawn Michaels comes back. If Shawn comes back, then I feel the retirement stipulation is forever destroyed. Shawn is the one guy that honored the retirement. He left, he never came back, but now he could be coming back after all these years. And I feel if he does, there's no way, at least for me personally, there's no way I'm going to buy into the idea that somebody will lose a match and be retired. So I feel like the stipulation is just completely dead if Shawn comes back, and it should never be done again. Don't even do it, because you're just insulting the fans' intelligence when you do it. As it is, pretty much every wrestler in history that lost the career-ending match, they always came back. It's ridiculous. People really don't retire in wrestling unless it's a really serious injury or, unfortunately, if somebody dies. But other than that, you look at Ric Flair, you look at Terry Funk, guys just keep coming back even when they lose retirement matches. The stipulation is very watered down. I would not be a fan of it at all. Got this one here from Rollins versus Styles, please. When it comes to the level of respect he gets inside and outside the wrestling business, from the fans and just being an overall leader, would you consider Undertaker to be the greatest of all time? One could certainly make that argument. Was The Undertaker the biggest draw in wrestling history? No, but when you look at longevity and what he has accomplished over a very long period of time and the overall consistency of The Undertaker as a successful drawing power. He was never the biggest draw, but he was always consistently a big draw in WWE, and one of the most memorable parts of the show has always been The Undertaker entrance, and as they say, he's the conscience of WWE. A lot of people would put Undertaker as their number one, and on the NoDQ.com top 25 list, I had him right up there in the top 5. And rightfully so. The Undertaker is definitely one of the greatest sports entertainers of all time. No question about it. And I got this one here from Chris Dosky. Hey Aaron, Vince has always been pretty high on Drew McIntyre. If he could stay healthy and continue to impress in the ring and can hold his own on the mic, do you think Vince may have him be the one to dethrone Roman down the line? Would you be a fan of this? That's a good joke. Drew McIntyre dethroning Roman Reigns. Yeah. I would not hold my breath on that one. But we could very well see Drew get a big push in WWE. Is he going to be the next guy? Being the top guy? Being the big dog? Being the franchise player? Being the champ that runs the camp? Being the cerebral assassin? Being the people's champion? I don't know. I really don't. And I tend to think it's not going to be Drew that's going to be that next guy. When you think of who's going to replace Roman Reigns and be the next guy that Vince pushes, I don't think it's going to be McIntyre. I really don't. I think it's going to be a new up-and-comer, somebody that has not been introduced yet, somebody who has the look, and just somebody that Vince really likes. And yeah, he does like McIntyre, no doubt about it, but I don't think it's going to be him. I would be surprised. You never know. McIntyre might all of a sudden develop some sort of character that catches fire and becomes a really hot commodity. But my feeling is he will be pushed fairly strongly, but he's not going to be the number one guy in the company. He's not going to be the guy to take over for Roman Reigns, if that's what you're asking. Got this one here from They See Me Rollins. Is WWE only pushing Becky Lynch because of her being in the new Marine movie? By the way, who watches those movies? LOL. I think it has nothing to do with the Marine. I really don't think that that's a factor at all. And as far as who watches those movies, that's a great question. I would like to know who, because those movies are absolutely terrible. And if I was going to spend my very precious time on planet Earth, the last thing I would be doing is watching WWE movies unless I absolutely had to. And even though it's my job to cover wrestling, guess what? I don't even watch those movies for the most part. Every now and then I'll check out a couple just for the so-called journalistic purposes, and they're almost all terrible. There are so many other things I would recommend people watch with their limited free time. I guess if you have a lot of time on your hands, then yeah, have at it. And maybe that's what WWE relies on. People that just want to live WWE 24/7. They wake up in the morning, they put on the WWE Network, they have it on at work, they have it on when they go to sleep, they have it on when they're in the shower. They just live and breathe WWE all the time. There are those fans out there. They do exist. And that's the audience for those movies, quite frankly. Got this one here from Liam. Jerry Lawler said the only thing stopping Andy Kaufman from entering the Hall of Fame is Andy never worked with WWE. Personally, I think he deserved a spot for what he did in regards to sports entertainment and helping Memphis, should he be inducted. 100% yes. If you're going to have a celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame, and WWE has already been inducting guys that haven't really done anything in WWE, yes. Andy Kaufman should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, he passed away, so he's another guy that you really cannot have appear. You might be able to have a family member show up. You can have Jerry Lawler do the speech, which would be really nice. I think it should happen, and it just goes to show that the Hall of Fame is more about publicity than anything else. Because Andy Kaufman has been dead for almost 40 years now. When did he die? 1984. I'm 36, so almost 36, so 34 years, not quite 40 years. I'm not that good at math, by the way. I don't have the Scott Steiner math skills, but it's been a long time. And you have to think, what kind of publicity would WWE get from Andy Kaufman? Not nearly as much as somebody who's alive. I hate to say it. And that's why the politics really come into play and the publicity. WWE will want to induct somebody who is on good terms with the company, who's alive, who can do media to promote it, and that's why certain people go into the celebrity wing. Andy Kaufman, though, if you're talking about a legitimate Hall of Fame, he should have been in a long time ago. Got this one here from Jake Lake Carpenter. Hey Aaron, I was wondering, was there ever a time you preferred watching WCW or ECW over WWE? If so, when? I have answered this question a couple of times over the years. Nothing really from ECW. I wasn't the biggest ECW fan. WCW, there was a period of about 6 months where I was more into WCW than WWE. And that would be from around the time Scott Hall came in, Kevin Nash, the NWO, when that got going. And through 96, most of 96, I was more into WCW. But by the time Steve Austin and Bret Hart got going, really it wasn't even 6 months. I would say maybe May of 96 until November of 96. By the time Austin and Bret Hart got going, and then meanwhile in WCW, they brought in all the people to jump to the NWO, Buff Bagwell and Michael Wall Street and Big Bubba. That's when the NWO angle started to run its course. And meanwhile, WWE was pushing the envelope with Austin, Bret Hart, the Brian Pillman gun angle. So yeah, maybe a 5 or 6 month period around there where I was more interested in WCW. But it didn't last long. Got this one here from King Turbonius. What is your favorite WWE, WWF, WCW promo of all time? Well, somewhat related to that previous question, you know, the Bret Hart, Steve Austin storyline was amazing. I have said this many times for those of you that are fairly new to this channel. You might not know this, but that is probably my all-time favorite match, Bret Hart, Steve Austin, WrestleMania. The Bret Hart profanity-filled promo, the Raw before WrestleMania 13 when he shoved Vince down, that is probably my all-time favorite. And going back to the NWO, Scott Hall showing up on the first Nitro. Where, oh, where is Billionaire Ted? Where, oh, where is the Nacho Man? That punk can't even get in the building. That is an awesome promo. Hulk Hogan, the heel turn, Bash at the Beach 96. And X-Pac showing up the night after. Yes, X-Pac of all people. That's one of my personal favorites because for me, that was a real turning point. The night after WrestleMania 14 when X-Pac showed up. And The Rock's promos, there's so many of them to list. The Rock, Mankind, This Is Your Life. The Rock had a lot of great promos. Hogan's promo the night after WrestleMania 18 when he just stood there and the crowd was cheering for him. That was a great one. There have been so many of them over the years, but the ones I just mentioned would be my favorites. This one comes from the anime fans. Why is everyone up in arms for the Brie Bella botch when others have botched just like she did? There are a certain group of fans out there that do not like the Bellas. They are very polarizing, just like John Cena. You have the Bella Army, you have a lot of Bella fans that feel the Bellas have become major superstars and have brought more viewers to WWE. But on the other hand, you have that audience of people that feel the Bellas are only in WWE because they were models first. They got their foot in the door, or feet in the door, I should say. And then they hooked up with wrestlers, John Cena, Daniel Bryan. So people have mixed feelings about the Bellas. And yeah, there's that group of critics that they will look for anything to tear them down. And if Brie screws something up, then people are going to run with it. And that's just the nature of social media in 2018. You do one thing wrong, you mess up, you got everybody using that against you and just burying you to the ground. It's kind of funny, the so-called social justice warriors, they all have this mob mentality, and to the point, it feels like they're the ones that are becoming the bullies. But, you know, just don't be a jerk. I mean, that should be a life motto for everybody. Just be a decent human being, and even if somebody screws up, at some point you got to forgive them and let it go. And with the Brie Bella subject, I've talked about it this week. it's just an unfortunate accident. And people like Seth Rollins have hurt people. There have been plenty of accidents over the years. D'Lo Brown hurt Draws and paralyzed him. And I don't remember a whole lot of backlash for D'Lo Brown. I think people just felt bad about the situation, but it just goes to show accidents happen. And anytime you get in the ring, regardless of who you are or who you're against, there's always going to be that risk of somebody getting hurt. And two people could just have timing that's off, and something bad can happen. Got this one here from Heel Cruddies. Hey Aaron, do you think Chris Jericho will ever go back to his old gimmicks like his suit-wearing run in 2008 to 2010, which was his best run in my opinion on SmackDown? I don't think so. Chris Jericho is all about reinventing himself. He doesn't want to go back to what he used to do. He's always looking to change things up, and that has been one of the things that has made Chris Jericho so great. I know there's some people out there that would love, for nostalgic purposes, to see him come back to the old gimmick, but he's always looking to stay fresh and change things up and do something he hasn't done before. He has that creative mind where he's always looking to do something new, and I really applaud Jericho for it. Yeah, the nostalgia is cool and all, but for him, in order to stay relevant, he knows he needs to change things up. Because you look at Hulk Hogan, he became a nostalgia act, and we've seen so many guys go down that route. But Jericho's been the one guy that has always changed things up, and he's always been fresh every time he's come back. That'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ Video. Thank you all for watching and supporting. Please spread the word, share this video. Word of mouth goes a long way. And on that note, I will see you guys next time.